All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into a word you probably think you know, but one that's often really misunderstood: Arya. We're going to push aside all the modern baggage and go straight to the source material to explore what this term actually means according to the philosophy of the Arya Samaj. So let's just ask it straight up. What does it really mean to be Arya? You know, if you ask around, you're going to get a ton of different answers, maybe about history or race or some kind of social status. But the philosophy we're digging into today, it points in a completely different direction. And here it is, the core idea right at the start. The philosophy draws a massive line in the sand. It says Arya is not a label you're born with, not a race, not a caste. Instead, it's presented as a noble quality, something that literally anyone can develop through their character and their actions. Okay, so if it's a title you have to earn, what does that actually look like? Let's break down the specific qualities that, according to the source, define what it is to be Arya. The source texts call Arya a Gunvachak Sangya. Now, what that basically means is it's a word that describes a quality, not an identity. And as you can see, it's a whole list of virtues: being noble, virtuous, civilized, loving truth, and acting for the good of others. The real key here is that it's not who you are by birth, but the standard you choose to live up to. This quote from the founder of the Arya Samaj just nails it. Being Arya isn't some passive thing. It's framed as this active, four-part process. You have to know the truth, then accept it, then speak it, and this is the most crucial part, you have to act on it. It's a dynamic way of living, not just a static belief. You know, this brings up a pretty obvious question, right? If becoming Arya is something you have to actively work at, well, why do it? What's the real motivation to walk what sounds like a pretty demanding path? Well, the reasons are huge. They're personal, but they're also about society as a whole. At its heart, this path is presented as a way to climb above all the dogma and superstition out there. It's about using reason and ancient wisdom not just for your own self-improvement, but to actually make society better. All right, so we've got the what and the why down, but how do you actually do it? If this whole thing is a path of transformation, what are the real practical steps? Well, the source material lays out a surprisingly clear and structured way forward. It's described as this big, holistic, three-level transformation. And we're not just talking about tweaking a few habits here. This is a pretty comprehensive approach that's designed to reshape your thoughts, your actions, and really your entire way of life. So check this out. It's built on these three pillars, and they flow right into each other. It all starts inside with vichar, which is your mindset and your core beliefs. That then has to translate into acharan, your actual behavior and actions. And finally, all of that gets integrated into your Jivan Shaili, your complete lifestyle. So level 1, the foundation, is all about your mindset. This is the deep internal shift. It's about committing to truth based on reason, not just blind faith. It's about embracing total equality for everyone, no matter their caste or gender. And it's about finding the courage to actually be a reformer in your own mind. Then you move to level 2, which is all about behavior. This is where you take those new beliefs and actually put them into practice. It's about living by a clear moral code every single day, with a really strong focus on self-discipline, always learning, and showing genuine respect for others, especially women. And finally, level 3 is where it all comes together and becomes your actual lifestyle. This is where those actions and behaviors become part of the very rhythm of your life, through daily rituals, through charity and helping others, and through a real commitment to sharing knowledge to help your community. Okay, so after all that work, what's the payoff? According to the source texts, following this kind of transformative path brings some pretty major benefits, not just for you as an individual, but for your family, your community, and even your country. On a personal level, the benefits are huge. We're talking about a sense of inner peace and self-confidence. The disciplined life is said to improve your physical health, and it's all aimed at spiritual progress, moving you toward what's known as moksha, or total liberation. And that positive change ripples out into the family.
The idea is to create a home that's more cultured and harmonious. A huge emphasis is placed on making sure women have equal rights, are deeply respected in the home, building a family on goodwill, not on fighting.
But then you zoom out to the societal level and wow, the vision gets really big. By defining a person's worth by their actions, not their birth, the philosophy takes a direct shot at the caste system. The goal is to build a more unified, rational society by getting rid of superstition and fighting for education for everyone, especially for girls. And all of this, the individual change, the family change, the social change, it's all meant to build up to a national impact. The argument is really simple. A country filled with sober, educated, service-minded people is just going to be a stronger nation, one that's capable of real social reform.
Now, if any of this sounds interesting to you, the source material doesn't just leave you hanging with a bunch of philosophy. It actually gives you a very clear, practical starting point for how to get on this path.
So, where do you start? Well, the path kicks off with knowledge, reading the foundational text. From there, it's about making a series of very deliberate choices, adopting the core principles, making a clean break from superstition, and then, finally, making that powerful commitment to stand up for what's true and just, even if you find yourself standing all alone. And that really brings us to a huge final question, one that goes way beyond just this one philosophy. If we, as a society, truly defined a person's nobility by their actions and not by the circumstances of their birth, how would that change everything? How would we value people? How would we build our communities? It's a really powerful idea to think about. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.